Alright, welcome everybody to the first episode of my Fallout 4 Let's Play of the new shitty robot DLC. Now, for this I'm going to have to actually roll back to a previous save because I started playing it on my main character a little bit just to get a taste of what was going on. And overrode all my saves. Didn't have the DLC active, so rolling back to level 71 kind of sucks. I was around like a level 83, but they were all statue levels, so not really a big deal. Just have to remember to re-equip a few things. Had some legendaries, stuff like that. Kind of sucks, but not a big deal. So, to start out, we hear radio shit. Stress frequency.
This is an emergency broadcast. Our caravan's under attack by hostile robots and needs some serious help. We're just east of Watts Consumer Electronics. If anyone in the vicinity can come help, now's the time. Ada, loop this message.
Yes, sir.
They're east of some bullshit.
This is an emergency broadcast. Our caravan's under attack by hostile robots and needs some serious help. We're just east of Watts Consumer Electronics. If anyone in the vicinity can come help, now's the time. Ada, loop this message.
There we go. So go see what's going on. Robots. Fuck them up. Do a little grinding and then get to the griping. Believe me, there is a ton of griping to be had about not only this DLC, but how DLC in general is handled, and particularly how Bethesda decided to go about handling this whole season pass thing. I find the whole thing really disgusting. Well, we might as well just get right into it. Huh? A lot of people might remember that the price of the DLC, or the season pass rather, was announced in February that if you bought it by the end of the month, you would pay the advertised amount from the beginning of time with this game. And if you waited, then you would have to pay more. A lot of people are like, oh, well, it's still worth it, blah, 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 blah. And if you buy it now, you're just getting the same price. You're not losing anything. Well, the thing is that I think the price should have been what the price was.
Thank you for assisting. I was certain to meet my end here as well.
I need to turn subtitles. Shut up. Not as good at this as that forget to turn subtitles sometimes.
Are you okay?
Physically, the damage is minor, but I am registering. It may sound strange coming from a robot, but they were my family. Again, I thank you for your efforts. I know they would have thanked you as well.
Looks like it was your
Even with
tough break.
they were my friend. We knew we ran the risk of encounter.
Well, you certainly paid that price.
Your apathy only increases my feelings of responsibility. In recompense, I will seek justice for my friends and stop these robots from causing further harm. It's time to uncover the source and confront their leader, the Mechanist.
It's a dumb name.
The Mechanist?
Perhaps I ask you in return.
Uh-huh. You want...
I admit my goal is twofold.
Right.
I won't rest. Now, you may... I will...
Another time.
Perhaps there's a place I may...
Uh-huh.
Yeah, how about you fuck off? Fuck off.
I'm
There.
familiar with the settlement. Hopefully, I may be of some use there. You are leaving.
Alright, so, like I was saying, they came up with a price for the season pass when they originally, were releasing the game. I'm gonna walk just so I can have fast travel, but I want to bitch about this for a little bit, so I'm gonna run through it. They came up with a price, what they thought was fair for the season pass originally. Then they released some content, or they announced some content that they're going to release. They didn't actually release anything. And they say, well, hold on, maybe our content's worth a little more than we initially thought. Well, isn't that up to us to decide, not you? You guys kind of have a history of releasing some pretty bogus DLC. Usually 1 out of 3 of your packs, first of all, are rip-offs of something that the modding community already did, typically did better. Case in point being the house building DLC that they had for Skyrim. People had lavish, just beautiful housing mods way before that was released. And the only thing that Bethesda really added to it was the inclusion of a little more of a fetch quest system, which that's going to become a factor in this DLC as well. Just from what I experienced in loading it up a little bit in my previous saves. So they decide, well, we think it's worth more money than we initially thought it was going to be. So we're going to charge you guys more. But we're going to be super cool and let you... Ooh. Fuck. Anyway, so they say, well, we think it's worth more. We're going to charge you more than we initially said. It's really close to saying what we initially agreed.
My friends
Shit.
did not survive the attempt.
Zoning out now. Looks
And it might even...
whatever. Tough break.
They were my...
Uh-huh. Well,
You're right. It's...
uh-huh. Sounds like it could be a...
For me, you have...
You want revenge, don't you?
I admit my goal is to... Now, you may... I will...
Another time.
Perhaps there's a place I may...
Uh-huh.
Right.
I'm familiar with the settlement. Hopefully, I don't believe we were finished.
Seriously.
Hey, Ada.
As I was saying, now, we last saw a group of the mech...
Another time.
Very well.
Wait. As them. That was weird. Alright. Anyway, back bitching. So they think that their DLC is worth more they initially expected, so they're going to jack up the price. And the reason that I say things like I'm tempted to say that they want to jack up the initially agreed upon price is because it's kind of like you take your vehicle to a mechanic and get an estimate, and they say it's going to be a certain amount, but then then they finish and they're like, well, I don't know, I repaired it really good. I repaired it way better than I thought I was going to be able to repair it. Yeah, I repaired that so good, girl. And then they want to jack up the price. Well, that's not really ethical. I don't even want to say that it's not fair because people can charge whatever they want for services, but it's not ethical. That just kind of doesn't matter to a lot of the video gaming industry these days. It's not like top dog. So I think it's bullshit that they changed the price. I also think the way that they did it, the whole like we're changing the price, but if you buy it now, if you buy it sooner, you don't have to pay more. That had a very like we need this month's numbers to look good kind of feel to it. And yeah, that just it really didn't feel that they do it that way. It seemed very sleazy, scumlordy. Then add on to the fact that already, when they announced the different DLC packages that they're when they announced the initial DLC packages, they're like, all right, so the first one's going to be this, build a robot DLC. Basically, like you give, I think anybody could give two shits about the story to this. The main draw is maybe getting some new armor that you can equip from the robots and to build a robot. Those types of things appealing, especially when you take into account that a lot of the complaints that I've heard are people saying, man, wouldn't it be nice if we had the old New Vegas follower system where you could have, you have your human companion and then you also have your robot companion, like Eddie and all that. That would be awesome. What happened, Mr. Andy? It's okay. Now it's gonna be hard to tell what robots are trying to kill me more. So anyway, yeah, a lot of people were like, "Oh, I miss that, having a robot companion or having the robot dog and the person, the robot and the person." So, spoilers here because I haven't even gotten that far in this playthrough. You can't fucking do that still. For whatever reason, the game devs can't fucking handle it. So we have to wait for the modding community to... And the modding community has, even without the GEC thing, they've already gotten way farther in that. The game devs have created batch files and scripts and all kinds of things that allow us to kind of jigger people to be able to be followers and companions and things. So, but like I was saying, game devs can't fucking handle it. They didn't put it in the game, so we have to wait until GEC kind of officially comes out. I think at that point it won't take very long for the modding community to release things like the ultimate follower overhaul and things like that, where you can have not just one more follower but multiple. And it's I think that has a lot to do with my disgust over the timing of their little price increase too, because it kind of has this... I have this feeling of like, hey, if you guys had maybe released the GEC a little bit faster, maybe the modding community would have already beat you to this stuff. Definitely feel like modders' content is only hindered by the fact that you don't have access to that. Almost always, I feel like the modding community does a better job with the Fallout content. New Vegas was very good, but again, that wasn't really. I don't know the details of which company or parts exactly. My understanding that was outsourced to Obsidian, and they, knocked the shit out of it. But still, even with that being said, the modding community fucking knocked it out of the park. The best faller in that game is Willow. Willow is a mod. Some of the best content in that is New Vegas Balance. Again, that's a mod. If anyone wants to know what weapon I'm using, it's 25% protection. I don't even know. I think I changed that on my save file. So those explode. Good to know. I need to hit F5 more often. Okay. So all these little parts that I'm picking up from robots, I think I also had some armor on my arm that I don't have. Yeah, I think I had Martyr. So, I mean, I guess the explosion would still kill. Not slow down time. But anyway. Yeah, so the mod community does shit better. Almost all of it. And fuck you. Shut up. Oh. I'm on drugs. So, yeah, back to my thoughts there. Basically, what I think happened is they've delayed GEC. Everybody should know that it's not out still, and I think a big part of that is they know if it was out, why would anybody buy our shit? Because the modders are going to be better. Go that way. So let's not release that until after our DLC comes and we get to make money on it. It's excellent time. Surely pure coincidence. One of the other things that really bothers me about the DLCs is that it's stuff that we, to modding community, was kind of already working on. I think I saw a couple of, before this was even announced, a couple of like this is me customizing a robot to use as a follower, or using a Securitron, or using a this, or using a that. So this idea is not the original, and I feel like because of the fact that those modders were able to get that content delivered in such a way that you can use their robot and your regular at the same time, I feel like that is just in general better content. Correct. It's more. But so they kind of, I feel like in a way, ripped off projects that people were already working on as far as that goes. The other DLC that they announced was some sort of arena building thing where you could build an arena, make fight each other. Gee, I don't know, that sounds familiar. I think there's like an entire video series that a dude did where he hits
That's it.
100 Death Claws against 500 Brotherhood of Steel, stuff like that. And he built his own arenas with what's in it. There's a little bit of like, you know, running a command prompt or something to make it so that he didn't have limits on how much he could build, which is really fucking stupid. But that's even there. It's there for people with baby consoles to about. But yeah, that's pretty good. You know, right off the bat, 2 of their DLC that they've announced are very familiar to, say, mod content. Alright, so this gives us our first Mechanist device. Fortunately, again, I think because of this poor planning, a lot of there's going to be a lot of inventory crunch once I start picking up multiple robot parts, trip thing. But hey, I'm terrible at this. Same.
I'm in.
So yeah, this looks like a good place to stop the episode. Start the next one.